Welcome to Will's Wheelhouse. Today we're going to be changing the rear brakes on a 13 Mini Cooper. For this job, you're going to need to chock the wheels, raise the vehicle, and secure it on jack stands. You'll need a 17 millimeter for the lug nuts, a T50 for the TORX bolt holding the rotor on, a 13 millimeter for the caliper bolts, and a 16 for the caliper bracket bolts. After you've removed the brake caliper, the bracket, the rotor, now you need to wind in the brake caliper, and you'll need a tool for that. You will not be able to use a C-clamp or pliers or a flathead screwdriver to pry this back. You'll need a tool like this. Now it's on to prepping the caliper bracket. You want to make sure these move freely. And replace the hardware. You'll need to clean this area where that hardware goes. Remove this bolt and clean the bolt, and then re-lubricate it. And I use this. Now that we've cleaned our bracket, lubricated your slide pins, insert them. You want to make sure that your boots are compressed before you put it back on the vehicle. If it's out like this when you put it on, you will get bad brake wear. But again, after you've lubricated the slide pin, insert it, lubricate where the hardware goes, and then install your new hardware. So this is now your prepped caliper bracket. You've got your hardware installed, your slide pins have been lubricated and reinserted, making sure that your rubber boot is compressed before you install it back on the vehicle. If it's not compressed, you can usually just do that and let the air out of it. When you push these bolts in, you are compressing air inside here. You need to release that. If it's sitting like that, pull up like that to release the air, and it should push down. Now it's time to prep the bolts and the brake pads. She just wants to not be camera shy. All right, so your caliper bracket bolts and your caliper bolts, you want to apply a little bit of blue Loctite to the threads. These already have it on it, but we're going to refresh that. A lot of brake pads first off, you want to match your brake pads. Make sure they're exactly the same, except have brake pad material. These have a fiberish backing on them. A lot of brake pads will just have a metal shim or nothing. In that case, you would want to apply some disc brake quiet to the back of these. These don't require it because of this material that's on the back. Next, we move on to the rotor. After you've matched it up with your old rotor, before you install it, you're going to want to clean the braking surface. Brake clean. And a clean towel. You want to remove the anti-rust / oil, whatever they install on these. Front and back. And a lot of brakes do use the inner lip as your parking brake. This particular car does not, but a lot of cars do. So you'll want to clean the inside of this as well. Remove the coating that's put on from the factory to keep this from rusting. Then you can install this back onto your vehicle. So now you've installed your TORX, you've installed your caliper bracket and torqued those 2 bolts to manufacturer spec. We're going to be installing the brake pads. Make sure you put your brake pads on the proper way. This particular one goes in the back. So now we've reinstalled our rotor, our TORX T50, our brake caliper bracket with these 16mm bolts in the back, torqued to manufacturer spec. Install the brake pads, install the brake caliper and the 2 13mm bolts, torqued to manufacturer spec. You're ready to reinstall the wheel and do the other side. Now on this side, on the passenger rear, we have the added brake wear sensor. You have to be very careful with these, but you'll need to remove it as it is hindering the caliper removal. Chances are you're going to want to replace this if it's made contact with the rotor, which this one looks like it has. I appreciate you hanging around to the end of the video. Hope this helped you out. Please like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Thank you.